Hello everybody, this is Roger from Roger's Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about how to start a landscape company and how to start a tree service. I've been doing tree removal and I've had a tree service at least about 20 years. Started off with a landscape company. I've had a few other small businesses. Had a snow removal landscape company and also a vending business, and also a cleaning service and massage therapy and personal training company. Anyway, now I'm in the tree service business, tree removal, stump grinding, debris hauling, and recycling. When I first started, of course I didn't have any money, kind of started over, and didn't really have much of anything. So I didn't have good credit. I didn't have a lot of help, and didn't have any assets or any savings. Basically, kind of starting almost from ground zero. So when I moved to Florida, Jacksonville, Orange Park area, basically I had to find a job, and luckily I was staying with some relatives until I could find a job. I got a job at Cracker Barrel, waiting tables, and I saved up enough money to buy some landscaping equipment, a trailer, and then I had a used minivan. So that's basically how I started. Did landscaping, bought more equipment, tried to keep buying more equipment, and so I could mow more lawns. And then met a person that was a tree climber, and had a few customers that had some trees that needed to be removed. So I subcontracted him to basically take the trees down, because I didn't have any equipment. I didn't really have any chainsaws. I think I ended up buying one chainsaw, and the subcontractor would basically climb the trees, bring them to the ground, and then I would basically either haul them away or push them to the road, and then rent a stump grinder and grind the stump, or subcontract everything out, and then I would call another subcontractor to haul the debris away. And then basically what I would do is do all the cleanup work, maybe hire someone to help me to move the debris to the road or haul the debris away. And the first piece of equipment I got was a small trailer, and I was able to put some of the debris on the trailer and haul it away myself to a local landfill. And then I ended up trading out my services and ended up getting a four-wheel drive pickup truck. And then I got a bigger trailer. And then I started to get more tree jobs and less concentration on the landscaping and lawn mowing and maintenance, because there was just, I could make more money doing a tree removal than I could mowing yards. So I kept a few contracts just to keep the money coming in, and then I concentrated my efforts and my advertising, flyers and stuff, to get more tree jobs, and then started buying more equipment. But if I had to do it over again, I probably would have bought, first thing I would have bought would be a dump trailer and a small stump grinder, because you can do most of your stump grinding by yourself with a small stump grinder. It might take you a little longer, but it's a good income, and a small stump grinder you can haul behind almost anything. And like I said, it usually a small medium-sized stump grinder can grind most any stumps, and it just takes you a little bit longer, but when you first start you have more time than anything. So that would probably be one of my first pieces of equipment, would be a small stump grinder and a dump trailer. And Of course, at that point, you'd probably have to have at least a F-150 or equivalent, or F1, preferably something four-wheel drive. If you can afford it, actually the best thing to get would be a 3/4 ton or 1 ton pickup truck, because that way you can haul a bigger dump trailer. You can haul all your equipment. But today, you really don't need but a few things, because you can subcontract most of your jobs out. So you can sub out your stumps, you can sub out your debris hauling, you can sub out your crane work. So I think today, especially for small companies, you don't really need all that much equipment. Basically, you need to be advertising, and you need to be on Facebook, social media, and go to network meetings. And because who basically is going to survive is the one with the lowest overhead, and the one that can get the jobs. So if you can create a good name for yourself and go to a lot of network meetings, get your name out there, keep your overhead low, you're going to be the one that survives, especially in like a bad economy, or if the economy sinks, or a lot of times in the winter time, things slow down, and the people that buy a lot of equipment have a lot of payments. They get in trouble over the winter. So you want to keep your overhead low. I bought everything cash when I first started, and got used equipment, and eventually when I got bigger, I started taking out loans and getting bigger equipment. The next thing I would purchase would be a small compact loader, because this is one of your best pieces of equipment. I mean, it's almost a toss-up between this and the stump grinder, because a small compact loader, and it has to have a grapple bucket, and it has to have a platform to stand on, because most of your smaller loaders can't pick up a lot, unless you have a counterbalance. And if you have something to stand on or a platform, you can be the counterbalance. I recommend a ditch witch, like SK series, like SK 750 or SK 752, SK 755, and the newer ones are SK 800. They're pretty low maintenance, and they're pretty rugged. I recommend a grapple bucket attachment first, something with a solid bottom, so that way you can pick up your logs, your debris, and your rakings at the end of the job. As far as saws go, I recommend, if you're going to get your own saws and do your own climbing, I'd recommend a top handle steel 192 or 193T. The 200T 201 is good, but it's kind of expensive, so I would stick with maybe get like a MS 250 for a ground saw, and then get you like a mid-range saw that you can put a long bar on, like maybe a 391. And it's a little bit underpowered, but you can still put a big bar on it. You want to go up to, you should have one at least 28, 32 inch bar, possibly a 36. 32 will pretty much do 99% of all your work. Also too, I'd stay away from doing big trees. I would do mainly concentrate on your smaller trees. I would subcontract out all your big tree work, your crane work, and then I would find a good company, or 2 or 3 companies, to haul debris, because sometimes everybody's not available, and then sometimes prices fluctuate. So find yourself a couple people that have loader trucks that haul your debris away, because you can get your debris hauled away probably for like $300 or $400, and if you have your own loader truck, it's going to cost you a lot more in the beginning, because you're not going to need them as often. What I do when I first started, I had a dump trailer. I would haul away my smaller jobs, and then haul away as much as I could. And then when the big logs came, I would try to eliminate all the brush and all the debris and try to haul um, the logs with the loader truck. I would get everything I could by myself, and then I would call a loader truck for the bigger stuff. Or another good thing to do is have them haul away all the big stuff, or have them haul away one load and leave you the smaller stuff if there's anything left. That way you can haul everything away yourself, the smaller debris, and then you'll save money on the second load. So that's another good way to do it. And then find out who has the biggest loader truck, of course, and use them for your bigger jobs, because sometimes they can haul everything away in one load, just depending on how you bid the job. After that, I ended up getting a chipper and an old dump truck. So basically, even now today, we stick with the smaller jobs. And if you get a big enough chipper, at least a 10 or 12 inch, I have an 18 inch, you can chip almost the entire job. And also too, it's a lot easier to get rid of chips than it is debris. So once you chip it, people actually either pay you or come get it for free, or you can dump it for free. And sometimes you can trade also for things. And another thing I lucked out on is I bought an acre property with an acre beside it. So chips can decompose very quickly. So if you chip your own debris, you can dump them out and spread them. And within a year, or 6 months, they pretty much break down. After a year, they're almost gone into dirt again. So if you have an acre or over an acre, or I know someone who does, that you can spread chips on, get a chipper. Get a used chipper, and at least a 10 inch. Don't get anything under a 10 inch because it's going to be a waste of time. I had a BC 1000 10 inch chipper. I loved it. Had an 85 horse diesel Cummins, and now I have a BC 1800 with a Perkins. It's like 120 horse, and it saves you a lot of money chipping your debris. So I do have a loader truck, an older one. I've had a few of them, and we hardly even use the loader truck anymore because we stick with smaller jobs. We chip a lot of our debris, and we also on the oak and hickory and maple, we actually cut it up and use it for firewood or sell it as firewood. So we eliminate probably 80 to 90% of our debris by chipping it or cutting it up into firewood. Kind of eliminate the dump fees. And then when you sell your firewood, you can take that money to pay any help that you have. Another thing, when you first start hiring employees, it gets very expensive. So what I normally do is hire from a temp service. Even if you have guys that have been working for you for years, or guys that work with you off and on, make them go through a temp service. Because when you go through a temp service, even though it costs you a few more dollars per hour, it gives you workers' comp and your liability insurance, and your guys are a lot happier because they have that steady check. And then if you're not busy, they can always get work from their other tree services, or they can get work from the temporary service. So they're not relying on you for 40 to 50 hours a week. Even if you use them once or twice a week, they can pick up their extra hours at the temp service, and you're fully covered. You got all your workers' comp, your insurance. Another thing I didn't know about when I first started, very first thing you should do is get your workers' comp exemption form. It's free for tree services, it's non-construction, and you can have up to 3 or 4 people working for you and not have workers' comp. So that is one of the single most important things to do, is get your workers' comp exemption form. Even if you have workers' comp through the temp service, this will keep workers' comp off your back, and it'll keep you from getting lots of fines. Because if you don't have workers' comp, or if you don't have a workers' comp exemption, they can go back 3 or 4 years and charge you 15% of every check that you ever written, and you got to prove that they're a subcontractor, or you have to prove they were on payroll. So Very important thing to do. Get your workers' comp exemption. It's free. Lasts for two. You just renew it every 2 years. So this is the first segment. I know it's a lot of information. Maybe you guys knew a lot of it before, but I'm going to stop it here, and then I'll have maybe section 2, and I'll review this, get some comments. Maybe people can ask me more questions, or tell me I've been rambling too much, or anyway. But I just did this off the top of my head, no notes or anything, so it might be kind of left field here and there. But anyway, this is Roger from Roger's Reviews, telling you how to start a tree service today. If you like this review, if you like this video, please crush the like button, subscribe, and I'll be bringing you more videos. Thank you, and God bless.